Hello and welcome back to another review. Today I'll be taking a look at the Jakks Specific Plug and Play 10-in-1. Normally for a plug and play I wouldn't really care, but I am a huge sucker for Atari. It's one of the original systems I had way back when. And seeing as how this is a plug and play, sure, why not? I got it on clearance for about like $10, and yeah, you know, go retro. Agree with that 100%. And another reason I really wanted to get this is, as anybody may or may not know, it's very hard to capture footage for the Atari, especially the 2600. You have to reverse engineer a bunch of stuff. So yeah, here we have some warnings, and we're just gonna go ahead and get right into it. Let's cut this bad boy open. Finally, after some struggling, I was able to get it open, and here we have the instructions. Well, I guess they're instructions, little overviews as far as what everything does, what it looks like, where the on and off are, and is rated E for everyone. More disclaimers and warnings on the back because everybody has to cover their ass nowadays. And I think there's a central fold area right there. We go, right here. We have a nice little view, I guess, about a general synopsis of each game, the controls. Who doesn't know how to play Pong at this point? But you know what, still it's nice that they put this in. There might be some kid that got this, didn't know what Breakout was all about. So now they know. Go ahead and take a look at the unit itself. Here we have our reset, our on and off switch, our select, our start. Here we have the joystick, which actually feels really nice, and our central button, jump, run, all that good stuff. It's actually built pretty solidly. It does feel pretty lightweight though, and uses 4 AA batteries. Following the link around, we see that we only have one mono audio. That's going to be a big NO, don't you know? We're going to go ahead and load some batteries up. 4 AA's, some good old dollar store batteries will work perfectly for right now. We'll get that sealed back on. I just wanted to comment that with the batteries in, it actually does give it a lot more heft. So something to notice, and with the power light on, it is blindingly bright. So it reminds me of those old 80s crush, kill, destroy robots. We have a little overview of how the unit looks booted up. Here's the main, I guess, game selection. All 10 games are listed here. I think I'll just start at the top and start with Adventure and work my way down. At the beginning, we see a little synopsis of what's going on, along with the controls, which is very helpful. And lo and behold, we're in the game itself. Haha, it's been a long time since I played Adventure, and so far everything holds up. Graphics, well, I mean, you really can't screw up with Atari graphics, but it looks pretty much the way I remember, it sounds pretty much the way I remember, and it kills things pretty much the way I remember. Haha, take that, dragon. We have Asteroids. Same song, different verse, a little bit of an intro as far as what's going on, and pretty much we are going to be cast right in. Shooting asteroids like you do. This is actually one of the very first Atari games I ever played. Way back in the day, I actually remember trading a Sega Genesis game, not a very good one, I think it was Spider-Man vs. Kingpin, to get my very first Atari with a copy of this game, as well as a copy of Haunted House. Alright, next up we have Breakout, and I have never been good at these types of games, but it is pretty much a standard fare Breakout, anybody who's played any version of Breakout, and it holds up pretty close to the original, so aside from me just sucking at this game, it's actually pretty good. Next up we have the Atari version of Centipede, and it plays pretty much the way you expect pretty much any Atari version of Centipede to play. If you've played one version of Centipede, you pretty much played it all. Same with Millipede, but it's still nice to see it here, to see how things were way back then. Now we have Circus Atari, or Atari Circus, depending on which variation you have. And I'm not much good at this game. It's pretty much just like Breakout. I think it's more fun just to watch them fall flat on their faces. That's just me personal. I don't know. I always get a morbid little chuckle out of it. Haha! Take that, circus performers. Next up is Gravatar, and which I could not figure out this game at all. I never played this back in the day. I don't have a frame of reference for it. And the only thing I could really accomplish in this was to die a lot. Yeah. If you have any good memories with Gravatar, by all means, let me know. All I could figure out was how to die repetitively. On the list is good old-fashioned Missile Command, a game that I did have back in the day and I have fond memories of. Specifically more of the arcade version than this version. A lot of the 2600 ports were very poorly made ports of the arcade games. But, you know, when you were a kid back in the 80s, or in the 70s for that matter, I mean, I was a kid of the 80s, we didn't complain much. Just be thankful for what you had. Next up we have Pong, which I couldn't figure out why it automatically set me as second player. And of course anybody who's played Pong for an extensive time can figure out how they get the computer stuck. And it could just be this version of the game, this port of the game, or I couldn't figure it out. But I was doing nothing and keeping it at a steady stalemate. We have Volleyball, which, to credit it, is actually pretty decent on the Atari. Not much of a sports guy. But the characters actually look like what they're supposed to look like instead of just a single solitary dot or pixel on the screen. You can make out the ball, you can make out the players, and it actually was pretty fun to play. Last and certainly not least, we have Yar's Revenge, which is a game that a lot of people talk about, but I don't have any personal memories with it. I remember watching people in the arcades play it quite a bit. But me personally, I'd never had any personal memories with it. So, that having been said, it does look pretty accurate. You know, you do have the force field that's there. You gotta bypass this slow homing, I guess, missile. And then you gotta avoid it when things go all crazy, like, whoa! Guys, this has been my review for the Atari 10-in-1 plug-and-play, a nice little budget item if you can find it for a good price. Like I said, I found mine for about $10, so definitely worth it. Hopefully you enjoyed this review. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and remember, have plenty of geeker days.